Hello and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to draw a double-sided axe and a hummingbird. Not entirely sure how yet, but we're gonna put the two together somehow, because I asked two people what to draw and they both gave me different things. So yeah, let's start with a double-sided axe. Let's test out what we might want the blade to look like first. This is kind of like some wings. I don't really want it to be wings. Well, maybe I do, because what does hummingbird wings look like? I do have a reference for a hummingbird because I didn't remember what a hummingbird looked like. Okay, this will get erased, so I'm not really too worried about it. Okay, no, I don't want it to look like that. Not the angel wings. We could just go standard battle axe. But this is kind of boring, I think. Alright. She did say double-sided, but she didn't necessarily say it had to be, like, the same double-sided. I could do something more like this, or actually I could do, like, hold on, let me make this even. I could do this and make this a blunt object. Yes, alright, something like that could work, but then we'd also probably want a spike at the end, because, well, we've got the blunt, we want the spike, we've got the slash, the stab, and the blunt. But she said double-sided, and you think of a double-sided axe, you think of something like that, so I think we're going to keep the thing on the top, though, because I could put a hummingbird sitting on the top of it, maybe? Let me sketch out a tiny little bird. Bird, caca. Yep. This is what a bird looks like. Trust. Okay, we've got a tiny little shitty bird sketch. Maybe, oh, what if we did a, like, sharp flower at the top? A flower-esque blunt object, or stabby. And the hummingbird is feeding off of it. And then we've got, oh, we could even have it sitting on it. Because you rarely see hummingbirds, like, stop moving, but they do from time to time. So we could have it, like, sitting on there, and then still keep the blade, and then we'd want to have the blade on this side too, because it is double-sided. So that means we could draw two hummingbirds, but I don't think we'll draw two. Yeah, we could do something like this, and then we could do some details on the blade itself to look somewhat like hummingbird wings. Something like that. I think we're gonna go with this. This could potentially take me a long time. I'm not entirely sure. This is the first time I've ever actually planned out what I'm doing in the video. Usually I just run right into it without thinking. So this is a first. Okie dokie. So we're scrapping all of these. We like this idea. That means we can erase these. This eraser is not an eraser anymore. Let's go ahead and ditch that and grab an actual eraser. There's one in this thing. Got that. Got that. Just throw that to the side. And hopefully this is a good eraser. I've used it before, but, like, barely. And not for a long time. Yeah, that's good enough. Alright. If I were to, like, look at these, I'll still be able to see the frickin' pencil marks, but what you can do, I don't really care. Alright. Ooh, my father just came home. Should I ask him something too and then add something he said? I would, but, you know, I don't want to get up. Alright. There, okay. I guess just chuck that in there. I guess we just kind of gonna have to keep that, because this eraser is no more. Say goodbye to the first eraser I ever used with drawing, ever. Mr. Eraser is actually gonna go in here with the other pencils, because it's still special, because it was the first eraser I used, so it gets to survive. Okay, I'll deal with that later, though. Because I want to get into drawing the axe. Do we want to draw the... Let's draw the axe first, because I think it'll be easier. And we'll also draw the flower after we've drawn the axe, because, well, if we draw the flower first, then we're probably going to get the blade wrong. And it'll just be a lot more annoying. Okay, we're going to use a ruler, even though I don't really like using rulers. Not a huge fan of using rulers, just because, kind of boring. I'd rather just wing it. Okay, so we want the tip of the flower to be right here, so we still have plenty of room for a bird. But I'm thinking, ditching my arm, if he's sitting on the blade, he needs room, so I kind of do need to do the bird first. Okay, so here's the top of the flower, right? We'll just shitty sketch in everything first. Shitty sketch in all the stuff that needs to be sketched in. Alright, I don't really know how to draw a flower, so this is just kind of what I think of as a flower. Because I don't know how to draw a flower. Alright, I think I've drawn a flower like once before. And that was probably over a year ago. Yeah, I drew a lily like almost over a year ago. I think it was in my first sketchbook that I did that in. So it was not almost over a year ago, that is fully over a year ago. Okay, so yeah, we had some room then. This is much higher than I wanted it, because if we look, we're leaving very little room for the bird itself. But that's why we do a shitty sketch first. Alright. Should we... Why is there an ant on my computer? Get the fuck... Where'd it go? No. I will crush you with my hand. You are not allowed in my computer. Nope. No. Alright, hold on. I gotta deal with this friggin' ant now. Alright, sir, you shall be exiled to... Do I have anywhere I can put you? No. You're gonna get sat on the ruler, because you're dead. And I want to dispose of you later, because if you didn't know, ants actually come back. Other ants will come back for dead ants in like 3 days. That's how long it takes an ant for it to secrete the dead smell. And then other ants can come and pick it up. If they're nearby, they'll try to come and bring it to the ant graveyard. And obviously I don't want more ants in here, especially right next to my computer. Dude was crawling on it, like... No. We don't want that here. Alright. There we go. That looks decent, but I kind of want it bigger, so let's make it bigger. It's mine. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. Do we want it to point more down? If we want it to point more down, we could carve this out and point it just down, but I kind of don't want that because I want to keep the thickness, but I think I still do want to point it more down. So go like this maybe, making it longer but straighter right there, which I think will be the play. Alright. That looks good. I'm liking this axe right now. However, there is one thing I don't like, that this isn't lined up, but it doesn't need to be lined up or anything. I just wish it was. But if I were to line them up, then it wouldn't work exactly how I want it to. You know, most of my weapons I like to give a story so that they have a reason or a purpose. This one does not have a reason or a purpose. 'Tis strange. There's no character I'm thinking of drawing this for. Alright. We're just gonna... And... Okay, that means the other tip of it should be right in here. Clearly that's not even, so we gotta fix that. Maybe a little lower, but... Okay. So this is mostly curved, just like the whole thing. A curve. Alright, this looks so much longer, and honestly, it might be I did not use the ruler to measure it because the ruler currently has a dead ant on it. Oh, you know, I could have just put that dude on my desk. It's whatever. My desk is black, it wouldn't work. It'd blend in. Alright, let's go ahead and go like that so we can have a little bit of distinction. Okie dokie. How far out's this? At the farthest point from the wall, it's not far, so from the wall, it should be out to here, which was about here. Okie dokie, we'll try and recreate that angle. Right. There we go, now we try and recreate this. It's a little harder because, well, I gotta keep my hand on the paper just because of the angle I'm sitting at. And I'm left-handed, so I'm drawing a curve this way. This goes against the curve of my wrist. So it's a little harder. These are different sizes. That's fine. You know what? I just remembered this was supposed to be the sketch to make sure the bird fit. I forgot about that. Okay, I think we're gonna have to scratch the bird sitting on the blade, or no, wait, but they have long beaks, so I don't know. I'll draw the bird. I might have to raise the flower up because I think it'll be easier to raise the flower than the whole blade at this point because this blade was annoying to place. Alright. We're gonna actually kind of go like this, see if we can get this some curve into it maybe. Okay, hold on. We want some curve on that, kinda. That's not what I want. But we're gonna leave it for now just so I don't have to mess with it, because I don't want to. Alright, yeah, that's not even either. This goes out to like here, this should go out to like there, right? Let's see, like there, and then like, yeah, about where I marked it right here, so these don't go out enough either. Jeez. I'm just not very good at this whole keeping things even, am I? Alright. Wait, I'm supposed to be drawing the bird, god damn it. I forgot. How do we draw this bird? What does a hummingbird look like? How do their little footsies look-sies? Well, I don't really know, nor do I actually know how I would draw him sitting on this. Maybe he doesn't need to be eating out of the flower, because this is kind of far now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe he's just looking at the flower. Alright. How do their wings look? Okay, this... I have two references, and both of them had their fucking wings out. I would like to see what your wings look like to your sides, because you're sitting down, resting. Alright. I've seen hummingbirds resting before. They're just like birds, so... They look somewhat like this, I think. Okie dokie. Just kind of like every single other bird. All birds look relatively the same. Just kind of minor differences, honestly. Not all birds, but most birds, I feel like. I'm not a birdologist, though, so. I like birds, though. That is wrong. In multiple ways, this is wrong. Alright, give me this pencil so that I don't have to grab the ruler, and pretend like we can see. There was no vision right there. Okay, that's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. How do their beaks don't look like this, though. Their beaks curve. I'm looking at the beak. His beak curves down. Like that. The face comes up from the beak like that, kind of. He's looking down, so there's going to be a curve. He's going to be I'm going to make him a little bit fatter just because I genuinely want to. Alright. I don't necessarily know if making him fatter makes him more accurate or not. I don't really know. Honestly, we might just like touch this up, not even do like a full like redraw of this, because this isn't bad. However, there is one big problem with hummingbirds. They are very, very colorful. I am limited by 2 colors. White and gray. I can obviously make it darker, but being not so good at shading is not going to be on my side for this. Alright. So, nope, give me the tiny eraser, because I want to make it actually look like he is like this. No, I think we're just going to have to do a actual drawing over it, because this is still very, very sketchy. And it's not a full drawing. That's going to need to be bigger. We're going to deal with that after we get the blade looking right. Because at the moment, I don't like how this left blade looks. Because it's just very much different from the right blade. Alright, go like this, 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 that. Get the eraser out and fix some of the lines to make it look a little smoother and nicer around here. This is what we need to do around here too, so we can actually see where our lines are, because that'll be one big problem if your sketch is not defined enough and you erase everything and try to make it look all nice following your sketch, but your sketch is like everywhere. You're gonna have a problem. Which I definitely was guilty of when I started drawing, and still am guilty of sometimes, because I overestimate my abilities. But that's fine. I think it's good to overestimate your abilities. You gotta challenge yourself. Alright, there we go. That's decent. Now, how's it gonna be connected? I don't fucking know. Just I didn't think about that. Okay. Alright, like this. Alright. Yep, that is good enough, because I fucking say so, and I am the only one that can talk. We could tie something around here too, just for bonus detail, because, well, we want to have as much detail as we can. Well, that's why we do sketches, because that would have been completely wrong and in the incorrect place. But now they're not actually crossing at the middle, which I did want them to do. But, you know, it's whatever. I'm not too worried about that. There we go. That should be good. Now the handle, I guess if that's tied, we should probably do ties across the whole thing, right? I wasn't planning on it, but I feel like it makes sense now. If we tie it across the whole handle, like this, and then we go down here, like this, and then like this. It's not going to be perfect, but honestly, I think that'll be fine, it not being perfect, because it'll add a little bit of character or something. I don't fucking know. Obviously, I'm going to make that look like ties, and it's going to be outside of the lines of the axe, but... And, how should we end it? I'd like to end it, like, right here. I don't want it much lower, so can we just, like, go like that? That's fine. We can keep it like that. It's not amazing, but it's not bad, so... Oh yeah, I have a pen I can use as a straight line tool. That's what I used to do. Alright. I don't like using straight line tool, like I said, but also sometimes I do. Yeah, there we go. It's convenient, but I don't like using it if I don't have to. Okie dokie, so now we need this much bigger, because think about this. If this is supposed to be a blunt object or a sharp object, you can't poke anything with it at the moment. It's actually... it is just barely above these blades. You want that part of the axe to be probably up to like right here, so you can actually stab without getting these in there. By the way, I am not an expert with weapons. I'm just assuming. I don't know. I could say whatever I want. I could say whatever I want and it'll be partially true. Alright. I feel like what I said makes enough sense to be probably true. It smells like food. I'm hungry. It's hot in my room. I'm sweating. This is unrelated to this drawing. I just realized all of a sudden that it was very hot in this room. And I'm sweating quite a lot. Okie dokie. So we're gonna try and add the petals. Is this an actual flower of some sort? I have no idea. I don't know flowers, so I don't know if there are any flowers that actually look like this. I could probably come up with a better flower if I bothered to look any up, but I did not because I didn't want to. So, what is this? I don't know. Flower. It's the power flower. I don't like that. That is too far, so we're going to erase that. I liked the original one that I drew. It was just too small. I didn't intend to draw the entire thing this large. Oh, you know what I could do? I didn't think about it until right now. Get it out to here. I didn't like how tall it was because it was super skinny. But if I were to like go like this to give myself a base for where I want the blade to be, or how the blade would be, I can draw a flower around this. I know this isn't exactly even, but it's fine. A flower's not going to be even. Okay, so is there a stem on this flower? Let's go ahead and give this a little bit of a stem so that we can just have a little bit of leeway with not having to make the flower too big. What kind of stem is this? No fucking clue. Beanstalk. I don't know. Alright. What kind of flower is this? I don't know, like I've said many times before. But flowers have leaves, so we'll put some leaves at the base. Why not, right? Put some leaves here. That's not a leaf, but we're just going to keep that for the moment because I couldn't be bothered to remove it. Now we add little bits of flowerness to it, being petals. I'm kind of thinking of this like a rose of some sort. But I don't know how to draw roses, so we're just putting lines here and kind of trying to make it look like a flower. Well, I guess if we're doing this, we don't really need the point then, do we? But also, it's supposed to be a sharp, pointy weapon, so I changed my mind. We do need the point. Okay, that's not bad. Does it look great? No, it kind of reminds me of a dragon fruit, but you know what? Whatever. Birds are pretty much dragons, right? No. No, they are not. Dragons are closer to lizards. Alright. We're going to want to make this base a little wider because, well, the flower's a little wide, so... There we go. That, not bad. Great? No. Bad? No. Now it's time for me to detail this. How? I don't really know. Let's see, how long was this? 26 minutes. Yeah, we're going to cut the time lapse, and yeah, we'll see what happens. See you when it's done. Already. It's been like an hour, and I'm done. I didn't really know what pattern to do, so I just did a weird grid that I like and don't like at the same time. Yeah. Also, something that I think is funny, I think this curve is actually better than this one. The one that I struggled with more, I think I actually like this side more than this one. Yeah, we got our little sketch there, little thing here. I did try to make the thing into wings, but I just couldn't get it to look right and just decided to ditch the idea. But yeah, that's really all I have. I guess see you tomorrow. Let me do my little signature and tell you to subscribe and stuff, and there we go. Peace.